Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been a minute and I'm so sorry, but I guess we'll start with some life updates. I am in Texas. We moved to Dallas. Everything has been great, except we have literally been in an ice storm for like 4 or 5 days now. So today is, what is today? I don't even know anymore. Today is January 28th. It's a Wednesday and we've been in here since Friday. I have not left the house. I have not really had much human interaction besides my fiance. My best friend has been little Boone in there, and my friend Maya, she's also in Dallas. She's been texting me, so we've been keeping each other like company from a distance. But yeah, I started my new job last Tuesday, so I got in about 3 full days working there, and it's so nice, y'all. Like, we get there around like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I've been leaving anywhere from like my first day I left at 12, my second day I left at like 4, and then my third day I left at 2:30. And oh my god, I knew like this would be great for me, but I had no idea like how good it would feel. And we get there at 6, and then the other day, it was like last Thursday, my preceptor is awesome, I love her, but we were just like working, we were super busy, and then like around 9 or 9:30 she looked at me, she was like, all right, you ready for your break? And I was like, what's a break? And we literally went and had like a 15-minute break, and then we came back and worked, and then we had a 30-minute lunch break where we literally went and sat in a break room. And I'm just not used to that, being an ICU bedside nurse. Like, you don't get those breaks, you don't get to step away from your patient, you never get to leave your patient alone and like get away and like just disassociate and get away from people. So it's amazing. And I'm a person, like, when I eat my meal, I just want peace and quiet and just to be able to enjoy it. And I think that's honestly a bodybuilder thing. I don't think that's just like a me thing, but I don't know. So I love it. It's been great. I've been training after work with 3 meals in me, and oh my god, the difference, like training after like a 7 or 8 hour shift compared to like a 13, 14 hour shift when you've been up since 4 a.m. and you've been on your feet for 12 hours is amazing. And I get all my water in, I get all my meals in, no problem, and my sleep has been actually insane. So I'm just really happy, and I'll keep you guys updated. I hope it continues to go well, and I love it. But I'll definitely keep you guys updated, bring you along with like a day in my life. It has been an adjustment working more days a week now, but I think I really like it, and I think I'll take the more days a week compared to like 3 or 4 days of 12, 13 hour shifts and having to like work out after that or before that, because I don't know, my body just didn't like it, and it's a very stressful job that I was doing, and I just already feel so much less stress. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder, and I'm just so excited to continue to work there and build my career as an outpatient surgery nurse. But the point of this video today, after that little ramble, I think that's all the updates. I'm 24 now, had a birthday, so I'm old. But the video today is going to be reasons your glutes aren't growing, and I made like a little checklist. There's 6 points I'm going to touch on. And I literally just came up with this little topic while I was doing my cardio, and I was like, let me just sit down and talk to YouTube. I haven't posted in a while, so this is the perfect thing, and I feel like it's something I've had to like kind of like trial and error with. I'm still learning, honestly, but I have some notes here on my phone, so if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes because I literally just typed this all during my 20-minute cardio, so obviously you can see I'm very passionate about it. Number one, warming up and hip mobility. A lot of people skip this. They go right into the gym, they get under like 3 plates on hip thrust, and that's just not good. Especially if you're sitting down all day, your hips get super, super stiff, and you got to make sure like you're warming them up, you're getting blood flowing to the right places. And if your hips are really tight, your body's going to compensate by using your quads, your hamstrings, and your low back instead of your glutes to lift the weight you're lifting. I used to be someone that I would never warm up, and I didn't even know what hip mobility was, but I'd go in and like my hip flexors would hurt so bad, I couldn't feel my glutes, and I just felt like I was honestly just like lifting weight with like no actual contraction in my glutes. So some things I've been doing are 90-90 hip extensions, and I think these are the right names for them, but maybe I'll make a video of like doing my full warm up and everything. But 90-90 hip flexions, where you literally bend your legs like a windshield wiper, and then you go back and forth like that. Just stretching them out. Honestly, I like to get on a bench and put a leg up there and just kind of like really hip hinge into it, and I feel that really good in my hip flexors especially.
Hello.
What are you doing? I'm filming a YouTube video of why people aren't growing their glutes. This is sit down talk.
You're sitting down with your
and talking because
viewers.
I just typed all this while I was doing cardio because I gotta tell people this. My workout was so good.
It was.
So after I warm up my hips and do hip mobility, another thing I like to go into is some glute activation. And this isn't something that's like gonna fatigue you and wear you out. It's supposed to like just get blood flowing, especially if you've been sitting all day. You can just really start feeling your muscles and everything. All right, walk out. So some of my favorite activation things I do like 2 or 3 sets. Nothing crazy, like I said. It's all body weight, and just a few reps until like I'm like, okay, I really am feeling this and I feel good and I'm ready to hit my lift. The first thing I like to do is banded glute bridges. Literally lay down, put a band around my knees, and just do some really slow glute bridges, really holding the isolation at the top. You know, when we're training glutes and legs, you don't want a posterior pelvic tilt. Well, we want an anterior pelvic tilt. So you like avoid hyperextending your back. So it's just the way the glutes work. Something else I like to do is some banded lateral side walks. So I like to stand up straight. I don't do like a squat or anything because that just fires my quads up. But I stand up straight, keep my pelvis tucked under, anterior pelvic tilt, and I'm thinking about putting the band on my knees and just kind of like driving through my knees. And I just do like 10 or 15 on each leg going each way, and then I come back and do that 2 or 3 times. Another thing for warm-ups I want to touch on is when you have a program and you have your sets programmed, you are going to have warm-up sets and working sets. Warm-up sets are something a lot of people skip and they just get under their like working load. But there's a lot of value in warm-up sets, especially before like your heavy compounds or anything. So let's say, for example, my working weight is like 2 plates and a 25 on hip thrust. Well, I can't just jump straight into that. I'm probably going to hurt my back. I'm probably not going to feel my glutes, and I'm just not primed and ready for it. So warm-up sets are really good to use to prime your body, just to start feeling the load, see how things are feeling that day, see how your body's feeling. It kind of like gives you an idea of where your working weight for the day is going to be. So let's say I've been doing hip thrusts, 2 plates and a 25. So I'm going to do some warm-up sets. So my first warm-up set, honestly, I like to just do like a body weight hip thrust or body weight movement. Kind of fill it out, get that squeeze at the top, make sure the bench is at a good height, make sure the belt or the pad is feeling good and where I want it to be. And a big thing for me is like foot placement. Make sure my foot placement is good. So my warm-up set is, the first one is just body weight movements. The second set I'm going to do, I may put a plate on each side, and I'm only going to do like 4 or 5 or maybe 6 at most, like reps of that. You don't want to wear yourself out. Again, it's a warm-up. You're supposed to just be filling it out. And then next, I probably will go ahead and jump up to like a plate and a 25 each side. Sometimes I just go ahead to 2 plates, fill it out, and then I'll get into my working weight. And warm-up sets are not something you need for every single lift, especially before your accessories. I maybe will do like a 20 or 30 pound like cable kickback and then go into my working weight. Usually it's like a 60 or 70 pounds. But really for compounds, you can't just like jump up, hip thrust 3 plates or shoulder press the 50s. You have to like slowly fill it out, warm it up, make sure you're contracting the muscle, and it just prevents injury, which is so important because you can't train if you're like broken. All right, point number 2, you're lifting too light or you're lifting way too heavy. So this is where I'll see a lot of people, especially women, lift up with lifting. Honestly, you know, at both points. Both points are valid for women here, but honestly, men too. So let's talk about lifting too light at first. A lot of people come to me and they're like, hey, like, I want to like build my glutes and everything, but I'm scared to lift too heavy because I don't want to get bulky. Girl, I promise you, you aren't going to get bulky. The only way you can get bulky is if you were just in a calorie surplus, eating a lot of food, and that bulky feeling I feel like people feel is just like body fat, if I'm being honest. I'm not trying to be mean or anything, but lifting light is not going to get you where you want to be. 20, 30 reps of everything, and then you finish, and you're not even like tired out in your muscle. Like, I mean, you're tired, but it's more of a cardiovascular tired. So you don't need to do super high reps and super low weight. That's not going to do anything but be a cardio, like a HIIT circuit style exercise. You have to pick a weight that is going to be challenging for you and make you fail within your rep range. And usually that rep range for hypertrophy, which means we want to build muscle, is anywhere from like 8 to 15. I like to stay between. I do know some people do some heavy compounds like 6 to 8 reps, or like some more like endurance, muscular endurance work, like 15 to 20. I like a good 8 to 12 rep range. I never really go above 12. Sometimes I do 12 to 15, I guess, but you have to challenge yourself and fail within your rep range. So pick a weight that is appropriate enough that is going to make you fail. Now, a lot of women lift way too heavy, especially on their leg movements, like a hip thrust, because it feels good to sling a lot of weight and to move some heavy weight. But I promise you, it's not as impressive as you think. Would you rather lift 4 plates on your hip thrust, or would you rather have a big butt? Because I see so many girls lifting like 4 plates on hip thrust or leg pressing like 8 plates, and their glutes are still small. So, like, what's the point? A lot of people just need to pull it back, really focus on your execution, your contraction. If you're like lifting like super crazy weight and you're not growing, this is something my coach sent the other day. If you're lifting super crazy weight and you're still not growing and you're still not happy with your physique, maybe pull it back, bring it back down, start from square one. Make sure your form is killer. Make sure you're actually getting a full range of motion, especially that stretch or lengthen position, and you're actually using the muscle you're targeting to like push up and get that concentric lift. So some questions you can ask yourself to make sure you're lifting the right amount of weight is, one, are you able to control the eccentric? This is the lower end part of a movement. So if we're doing a squat, this is the part where you're going down to the ground. That should be about 3 or 4 seconds. You shouldn't just be dropping down and then halfway going down then coming back up. You want to make sure you're going down slowly, getting a full range of motion, and able to shoot back up. Number 2, are you actually feeling the muscle you're using? Now, mind muscle connection isn't everything, but it is important. You want to make sure you're actually like doing a cable kickback and feeling your glutes and not just feeling all in your lower back. Number 3, you can pause at peak contraction. So let's say you're doing bicep curls and you're like going and you're just like slinging and you can't like pause at the top. So drop down, drop the weight by like 10 or 15 pounds, actually get a full stretch, and then contract at the top. And another really good example of this is lateral raises. I see so many people like just swinging, but you want to make sure you can actually come down all the way, come up at the top, pause there, and then slow eccentric down, because so many people are just like slinging and that's your traps. But it goes for every muscle, it goes for every exercise. Last point, you should be able to hit your target rep range with clean form. Now, I'm not saying your last few reps are not going to be messy or be a grind. They should be, but you don't want to start compensating like with other muscles towards the end of your rep range, or like speeding up. Honestly, towards the end of a rep range for me, I slow down because I'm so focused and try to make sure my form is clean and everything. So keep that in mind. A good thing that I heard someone say one time is you want rep 1 to look like rep 10. Or actually, I think it was you want your last rep to look like your first rep. Like, that should always be the goal. But yeah, make sure you pick a weight that you can fail within your rep range. Don't try to do like 20 or 30 reps and go super light. Pick a weight that's challenging for you in your rep range, but that you're able to control with good form and actually feel a good contraction. Number 3, not enough stimulus or frequency within the week. A lot of people will want to grow their glutes and their legs, but they're only hitting them once a week. And even though that session may be super intense, they need the volume throughout the week. You have to put the volume there if you want them to grow. What I found that has worked the most for me is 2 to 3, but especially 3 glute focus sessions. And not all 3 of those are going to be like heavy compounds every single day. It's a different stimulus each day. So like my first day may be like a glute and ham day. My second day may be more of like a heavy compound glute day with like heavy hip thrusts, heavy RDL, heavy squats. And then my third day might be more of like a glute isolation pump day where I'm just like trying to get more volume, trying to get more blood flow in the glutes. And that's more like I might do like hyperextensions, maybe a lighter hip thrust, like a 12 to 15 rep range, and some kickbacks to end it off. Nothing crazy. Number 4, you're not eating enough. And there can be a lot of ways we can go with this, but I'm going to keep it simple and sweet. Something I like to tell my girls that come to me is that you cannot expect your car to drive with no fuel, and the same for your body. You can't expect your body to perform well with no food. You definitely can't expect to build muscle with no food. So you have to make sure you're eating enough, especially protein and carbs. And of course, we want fats at a good level for hormone health and everything, and honestly, like energy levels, but especially carbs, especially protein. A lot of people are so scared of carbs, but carbs are a primary source of energy, and you definitely need carbs before your lifts if you actually want to perform well. In the gym, we damage our muscles, we tear down our muscles, and then when you go home, you rest, you eat, you recover. That's when muscle is actually built. But if you're not resting and especially not eating, you're not going to grow. I really do believe that food and sleep are the most anabolic things you can do that can help you grow muscle. So some signs your food may be too low is you aren't progressing in the gym, your strength has stalled, but also, like, look at your sleep. Are you sleeping poorly? Are you waking up just like super hungry all the time? I feel like you're not recovering in between your sessions, and are you constantly like super lethargic and fatigued? You cannot grow your glutes if you're scared of carbs and scared to eat in general. Number 5, recovery is so important. This is something I used to really skip on, and I was one of those person. I was like, I'm an all or nothing. I don't need rest. I'm gonna train every single day of the week, and I'm only gonna sleep 3 hours. And it's so funny because looking back, I'm like, how did I do that? Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I need a rest day so bad. Definitely, if you are training hard enough and putting your all into your sessions, you need rest days. So like I said earlier, in the gym, while you're training, that's when you damage the muscle, tear it down. But if you want it to recover, grow, get stronger, get bigger, you have to actually let it recover. Now, some things you can do for recovery is, of course, like get body work, maybe go do the sauna, do an ice plunge or something. But those are all like extra things. You have to get the basics down first, and that's what I'm going to touch on today. So some easy recovery things you can do is get enough sleep, 7 to 9 hours. That's a non-negotiable. I cannot believe I used to only get like 4 or 5 hours, and I'd be like, I'm fine, I feel great. No, I didn't. No, you don't. I promise that you cannot run off of 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Honestly, like 8 or 9 is my happy spot, and I found that works great for me. This point here that I wrote down is you actually need to recover in between sessions. The last point here, point number 6, choose things that feel good for you. Choose exercises that fit your body and you actually connect with. So this one's really important because, you know, social media, everyone's posting their leg days or their glute workouts, and the best glute workout that will grow your glutes. But it's important to note that everyone has different limb structure, everyone's hips sit differently, and everyone is just built differently. So honestly, we can't all do like the same things and it be the best thing for us. And a lot of it just comes down to trial and error, figuring out what works for you. Again, this goes back to form. If your form is off, your glutes aren't going to grow. So just pick some things that feel good for you. And you honestly just have to play around with it. Play around with your foot placement, play around with how far you may like hinge over into RDL, play around with your RDL variations. For me, a belt squat RDL worked beautifully. I've had to do a lot of work for like dumbbell and barbell RDLs, but something about a belt squat RDL just like clicked instantly. Something I can't really do is a leg press, and I used to have it in a program like 3 or 4, maybe like 5 times a week because I was doing legs 3 times, and each session there was like a high and wide leg press and a single leg press. But honestly, I never felt my glutes, and I only felt my quads, but I did it because my coach told me to. But also that was my fault. Like if you're doing something in your program that your coach gave you and you're not connecting with it and it's just not feeling good, or you're getting like a lot of back engagement or something's hurting, tell your coach, tell them. Just because it's in your plan or someone else is doing it does not mean you have to do it. The movements that generally work good that you guys should definitely play around with are your hip thrust, any type of machine that fits your body and feels good for you. Again, like I love a hammer strength hip thrust that my new gym has, but I mean, a lot of people probably can't do that, but it works great for my height and my body, but it takes getting some used to. I love a Smith machine hip thrust because you generally can set that up how you want to for your body, as long as it goes all the way to the ground. RDLs are great. Love a heavy RDL. The hip hinge back is everything. But of course, form is crucial there, so you don't make sure you're like using your low back or anything. I love a hip hinge squat too, especially like on a belt squat. And it just focuses like on the hip hinge back, keeping those knees stacked above your ankles. But another sub for that is like a Bulgarian split squat. Accessories, you have hyperextensions, cable kickback variations, Smith machine, hyperextensions, aka the frog pumps. Of course, your abduction work on the abductor machine. Don't feel like you have to copy someone else just because someone else is doing exercise. You don't have to do that. And honestly, just stay in your own lane. Focus on your own training and your own goals, and everything will fall into place. I think a lot of people get so caught up in what other people are doing that it kind of messes with their heads, and comparison truly is the thief of joy. Stop worrying about what Sally's doing over there and worry about what you are doing, because you're the one that's going to grow your glutes. Who cares what she's doing? If you copy her exact same workouts, but none of it feels good to you, and she has the body you want, well, it's probably because Sally's doing stuff that feels good to her. So, I mean, you can like get some inspiration from her, but pick things that work good for you, that feel good for you. And honestly, the basics work. You don't need anything fancy. You don't need to do some crazy circuit that you saw your favorite influencer doing. You just need the basics like hip thrusts, RDLs, squats, split squats, a leg press if it feels good for you, cable kickbacks. That's it. You don't have to overcomplicate it. Truly, growth comes from exercises you can load and you can actually progress with. That's another key thing for growth, is progressive overload. You can't just go into the gym and do 30s on your RDLs for the next 2 years and expect to grow. You have to slowly progress, whether that be, okay, this week I did 30s for 10. Next week I'm going to try and do 30s for 11. And then the next week I might hit 30s for 12. And then now I'm at the end of my rep range. So now I'm going to go up to 32.5, and you kind of like fall back into your rep range generally. So let's say the next week I hit 32.5 on RDLs for 9, and then the next week I got it for 10, and the next week I got it for 12. Well, this week I did 32.5 again for 12, but my connection was better. Those are all forms of progressing and progressive overload. You don't want to make crazy jumps in the gym. This is something I used to do. You don't want to make crazy jumps in weight in the gym. Just take it day by day. Take it slowly. You can't like realistically just add 25 pounds on each side the next week. And sometimes like it takes forever to even make a weight jump, and I think that's something I had to learn to be okay with. If your connection was better, your form was better, and you feel like you executed better, then you definitely did make progress, even though if you hit the same reps with the same weight. And know that you don't need like a crazy training program every few months. Just write yourself a training program that has 5 or 6 really solid exercises that work good for you, 2 to 4 working sets, and rep ranges like I said earlier, like 8 to 12, 8 to 15, and each week just try to do the same exact training program, but try to do a little bit better, whether that be progression in weight, progression in reps, or you connected or executed the movement better. So final takeaway, if your glutes aren't growing, go through this checklist and ask yourself, am I properly warming up? Am I lifting too light, or am I lifting too heavy? Am I actually connecting with my glutes? Do I feel like I can lift heavier, or do I feel like I should really dial back this because I'm just slinging around 3 plates for no reason? Am I getting enough weekly stimulus? Am I only training legs once a week? Can I actually push to 2 with good recovery, or can I hit 3 and like 2 like heavy compound days and like a third accessory day? Eating enough? How is my recovery? How are my energy levels? Do I feel like I'm going to bed starving every single day? Do I feel like I'm not recovering properly? Am I putting enough effort and energy into my sleep, or am I getting like 4 hours every single night? Am I resting enough between my sessions? Do I feel like I'm recovering adequately between my sessions? Am I connecting with the exercises I'm doing? Am I chasing progressions? Am I actually pushing myself in the gym and chasing to get stronger or do more reps every single week? So if you want to grow your glutes, go through this checklist, make sure you're hitting all 6 things, and if you're not, it's just as simple as reassessing your plan and your efforts and try to fix it. Really, if you're doing all these things with proper training, proper nutrition, proper recovery, proper frequency, volume, and exercise selection, you're only going to force yourself to grow. And it's as simple as that. So thank you guys for watching this video. I will be doing an updated training and full day of eating soon is my plan. But definitely training, because I did go back to 5 days a week. I guess I should have updated on this earlier. I did go back to 5 days training a week, so 3 lower body sessions now, which I love, and I'm excited for some good glute growth from more volume, like I touched on earlier. But I'll take you guys through that, kind of give you some good like form cues and tips and stuff that has really helped me as a quad dominant girly. But yeah, I think that's everything. Make sure you guys follow me on Instagram. I'm always like on there giving some like form cues and everything, and I just would love to connect with y'all. But Instagram at _KatecFit, and I will see you guys next video.